we should dip our toe into because it was, it used to be such a mainstay that I think the Arizona Coyotes are now on life support.
Yep.
Yeah. All right.
4 minutes.
We are back. McCowan, Shannon, our thanks to Doug Smith again. One of the other news stories that's come up, it hasn't been a huge one in Southern Ontario. I guess it's a huge one in Arizona, but it looks like the Coyotes arena deal with Tempe is done. And it's not done well. It's done, no, they're not interested. And it doesn't look like there's going to be one, is there?
They lost the vote. They lost it decisively, 56% to 44%, basically. And I think that this really puts the Coyotes in a precarious position for maybe not next season, but for the season after that. I think that, and remember when we had Gary on the show, and I said, what if they don't win the vote? And he says, I don't want to go there.
Well, of course he doesn't want to go there. He has done everything in his power to keep the Coyotes in Arizona,
but I think
for reasons that I cannot imagine.
Yeah, and I think that this was a watershed day, and I suspect that we're going to start hearing about either new ownership and partnership with the Phoenix Suns, or because there's new ownership with the Suns, and as we talked about with Doug, that he might be amenable to owning the hockey team or relocation. And I think that's what we're going to start hearing about more and more and more, because they will not tolerate living in this 4,600 seat arena for much more than 1 year, in my opinion.
Could the Coyotes or could the basketball management put the hockey team in their rink?
Well, they've actually just done a renovation at the downtown arena. And the answer is they could. It was never great the first time they played there, Bob. And I think that if it does come to fruition, they'd have to build a new arena, period, again there.
That seems unlikely, though, John.
Okay, so then I actually think relocation might be the reality for this hockey club. I really
get out of Arizona.
Get out of Arizona.
So, any thought as to where they might go, or
three words?
What?
3 words: Salt Lake City.
Why?
There is an owner of the basketball team there that has an appetite, went through some ownership bids with the NHL, has a strong relationship with Gary. His name is Ryan Smith. He owns the Jazz now. He owns the MLS team there. I would not be surprised that we start to hear a lot of discussion that the Coyotes somehow, some way in the next 18 to 24 months end up in the state capital of Utah.
In your opinion, would that be a good move for the franchise? Because it's not a city that is talked about a lot.
No, it isn't. 2.8 million people live in, the greater Salt Lake area. There has been hockey there in the past. It's in the Mountain Time Zone. It fits in well with it from a travel perspective. It's a very rich city. There's lots of money in Salt Lake City. And it fits in when you look at what the NHL has done in what I would describe as secondary cities. They've had a lot of success in secondary cities. Las Vegas, Nashville, Columbus, those types of cities. That's where the demographic is for Salt Lake City. I would not rule out Salt Lake City, and I think that it's probably.
I'm not ruling them out, John.
I think it's higher.
Not a place that comes to mind right away.
Oh, I know, and it's kind of like its own little secret in Utah.
If there was a group that promoted Portland, do you not think that would be a better NHL destination?
We can talk about this more. I keep hearing over and over that the ownership group in Portland just not well organized right now, and there's not much appetite for hockey by the people that own the Trailblazers, and that's the estate of Paul Allen, who was one of the Microsoft founders that used to own the Seahawks and owns the Trailblazers. So the answer is no.
Well, we'll have lots of time to talk about it. It just looks like the Coyotes in Tempe, at least, are not going to happen. we'll see whether they stay in Arizona or move someplace else in the days, weeks, and probably months, and even years to come.